Welcome back to the world of Wraith. The Monday Market Watch is here. We got a lot to talk about. Before we jump into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below, is Betsy a metagame contender now? Or was it just like a one-time thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Not financial advice. Let's jump into it. If you've been living under a rock, Betsy did really good getting 2 top 8s at the Pro Tour. Shout out the Betsy players. Betsy Marvel pretty much 110, slowly going to 120, 150. She really did impress me. Betsy has some pretty dope plays. The double down plays, being able to make a bunch of tokens with her hat is pretty dope. Double down, kind of off the market basically. I mean, a rainbow foil for 20, here's a damage for 30. Ton have been selling. I would say you could think of this like as a $15 card more or less. Let's see if there's any quantities that restock the market. Right now, double down is very low. The EA rainbow foils about 40, then 42, then 50. It looks like they've been selling about 33, 34. Yeah, pretty crazy. Betsy's doing really good. Pile driver, the non-foil, pretty much $4, and then we're jumping over to 9, 10, and then 44. I think this will definitely replenish. I think it should be around the $5 card. The cold foil from Gem Pack 5, pretty much 75, and then 89. A bunch are selling. Looks like they've been selling for around 40-ish, more or less. Folks, don't buy this for this price. I think this should be like a $20 cold foil, more or less. There's a lot of hype right now. See if you can just pull it out of your packs. If you have cold foil pile drivers, it's probably a good time to try to sell yours. I think this will definitely go down. Good time chapeau, the cold foil. You have some for 30. After these go, we're jumping over to 40 and then 50. Very powerful card. You know, I remember one of the player interviews, he said that you can just do this a bunch of times against aggro decks that aren't going to block you out. And when you're making like 6 mites and 6 vigors with double down and good time chapeau, you get a crazy amount of value. Pretty dope headpiece. The non-foils are readily available, but if you want the cold foil promo, it's pretty much $30. Talk a big game. Seeing some playing the Betsy list. Pretty much still $13, $14. You have some rainbow foils here for $14, $15. If you're gonna buy some, I think it's better to just put the money and get the rainbow foil. They're pretty much the same price, but would you rather have a foil version or a non-foil? I like foils, but some people like their non-foils so they don't curl. Make your own choices. The EA Talk a Big Games, pretty much 41, slowly going over to 43, 45, and then we're at 50s. These aren't selling a ton. Looks like one sold, and then slowly selling. Pretty much a little over 40. I think these are going to stay around this price. Slab Happy, Betsy was playing this and it was making it look really good. Being able to prevent damage with flicks or arcane damage, and then creating the vigor to swing your pile driver along with the blue is pretty good. Only 9 on the market. Pretty much a near mint is $2. And then we're jumping away to 5, 8. So not a bad pickup if you want the EA Slab Happy. Very few on the market, so make your own choices, but I think this is not a bad pickup. It's a Guardian Warrior instant, so pretty good that it's for 2 classes. Gauntlets of Iron Will. Guys, this was pretty low for quite a while. I think last time I went over it was 14 for the rainbow foil. Looks like it's been jumping up a little bit. We have one for 18, then we're jumping over to 21. Very slowly going over to 25. I think this is still a really good price point for gauntlets. This is really good against assassins, warriors, cold foils, pretty much 28, 29, slowly going over to 30. I think this is really good for a legendary arm piece for guardians. Now Marionette is leaving soon, but we're gonna get a whole set to support warriors, and in general, warriors, assassins, even ninjas will always be around. So this being able to get your block value and prevent them from gaining 1 can be pretty good, especially for this current price point. Not financial advice. Heart of Ice, we saw y'all playing this This is a pretty good legendary piece of equipment, especially when you're playing the Guardian Mirrors with a ton of D-reacts, or against wizards. You kind of just tax them if they want to play on your turn. Pretty much 50 bucks. This is Blade Break AB1, so pretty dope piece of equipment. Looks like we got some rainbow foils for 51, 52, and then we have cold foils for 62. Make your own choices. If you want to save 10 bucks, get the rainbow foils. If you want to spend a little bit extra for the cold foils, which usually hold better value if there's ever reprints and things like that, not a bad idea to spend a little extra on the cold foil. Make your own choices. Bark Skin of the Millennium Tree. Jarl's really doing its thing right now. Pretty much 30 bucks, slowly climbing over to 32, then 36. I think this is a good piece of equipment, and right now with only one Earth hero available, it's not a bad price, but definitely if we get another Earth set, I could definitely see this jumping up. The EA variant, it's been around this price for quite a while, 63, 65, and slowly climbing over to 70. Not a bad pickup, especially if LSS is gonna keep on not giving us EA equipments and kind of locking it to gold foils. I think this is a pretty good pickup. Gauntlets of Sword and Sorcery. Folks, the next set is somehow Runeblade again. Viserai does not tap. I don't know if anybody is talking about that. All of the heroes ever since High Seas tap. Viserai does not, which I thought was really interesting and a little bit weird, but it is Viserai. LSS loves Runeblades. They are not beating that accusation. Gauntlets of Sword and Sorcery. Not a bad piece of equipment. Not as good as Grasp of the Arknight, but I think for Runeblade players, just make sure you have your copy. This is pretty much 23, 25 bucks. Guys, in Market Watch, I constantly try to highlight legendaries when they're cheap. You know, if you're an enfranchised player like me and you just like having the legendary piece of equipment, I always tell you anywhere from like $8 to $25, $20 is a pretty good price for legendary. Once they start jumping over to the 30 to 60 range, then like, you know, it's a lot harder to just buy them. And then once they're over to like 60 to like 100, then it's kind of like a big purchase. So when I see legendaries from that 8 to 25 price range, I try to tell you guys, pick them up if you're going to play the class, because we're going to see in a little bit how legendaries can get. Grasp of the Arknights, lightly played for 48 more or less, then we're at 70, so people are pretty hyped. Once these 70s go, we're at 85. This is for the history pack, white border, non-foil. Folks, if you're gonna buy it, I think you're just better off buying the unlimited rainbow foil for 75. We're at 75 for quite a while, then jumping over to 80. Just get yourself the unlimited rainbow foil, one of the best pieces of equipment in Flesh and Blood. Battle Worn 2, make a rune champ, awesome piece of equipment. Sonata Phantasmia, very high ceiling card. It just makes rune chants, but if X is 6 or greater, target hero discards 3 random cards. One of my locals played this against me in Living Legend, and it was insane. Viserai does get access to the new purple gem, so that can kind of help him make X equals 6, which realistically there's 2 X's on the card, so it has to equal 12. But a gem being worth 4 resources is a third of the cost that you need. Something to think about. I don't really think new Viserai will run this. Something cool though, if you have some, maybe not a bad time to sell them. 10 bucks, then jumping over to 15, then 17 for a rainbow foil, 25 for a non-foil, and 25 for rainbow foil. Dyadic Carapace did get a reprint, but it's still hovering around 70 bucks for the rainbow foil, slowly going to 75. Aurora does not really use Tunic. I don't think players have agreed on what chest piece to run for her, but this is a pretty good contender. Tempered 2 equipment, AB2. The EA cold foil, amazing artwork. Pretty much 115, then we're jumping over to 120, 130. The reprint from Gem Pack 5, pretty much 53, slowly heading over to 60. I think this will definitely go down. But if you're in need of a Dyadic Carapace, this is just available, a little bit cheaper. If you're not in a rush to get it, you can definitely wait. As more Gem Pack 5s open, more of this will come onto the market. But Runeblade, pretty in demand class right now, so I could definitely see this hovering around 40. You know, maybe you can get it off your locals for a little bit cheaper, but I do think it won't go down a crazy amount. Pretty good card. Pretty dope artwork too. I really like this alternate artwork. Spellbound Creepers. Right now we're looking at 62 for some cold foil. Not bad for the cold foils here. Rainbow foils for 65 and slowly going towards 70. The alternate art Spellbound Creepers pretty much 160, 163, then slowly going towards 200. These half sales at 150, so pretty crazy, but the artwork does look amazing, and this is a very powerful piece of like equipment. Kappa Quick Thinking, pretty much you can only get this from a Judge Pack, and we're not going to look at that because Judge Pack cold foils are crazy. And Armory Deck Aurora, pretty much 23 bucks, slowly going towards 25. Acilio was playing this, pretty rare to come by as it only has one printing basically. Maybe this will get a reprint, maybe not. Make your own choices. Can't really recommend anybody get this, but if you want to get it, then get it. A lot of people do have the Aurora Armory decks, so maybe you can ask around and get a good deal from some of your old Aurora players. Third Eye of the Sphinx. Folks, when I was talking about Gauntlets of Sword and Sorcery around the 25 price point, this card was right there along with them. Now, Alex Ward was playing this, and honestly, he was making this look really good. It has a little jump. We're looking at 35, 35. Once these two go, it's at 50. Here's a cold foil for 50, so low-key, not a bad deal. The Banished Stone's holding it down 50. They have 7 available. Make your own choices. If you didn't buy this for 25, I think it's gonna hover around 40-ish right now. Looks like a bunch were selling a little over 20. The cold foil for 50, I don't think it's a bad buy. I think this is actually a pretty good price point. This is Illusionist Wizard equipment. Also, it has Spell Void 1, Blade Break, so it's versatile in matchups, whether it's an arcane matchup or just all physical matchup. And being able to turn your ponders into draws can be really good. Make your own choices. I was telling folks to buy this earlier. Hopefully some of y'all did. If you didn't, I think this is just going to be the price point it's going to sit at for quite a while. Possibly it could just continue to go up, as it's just a pretty good piece of equipment in my opinion. Comet Storm Shock cold foils, pretty much 10 bucks more or less. Once all of these go, we're looking at 25, then 35. If you have the Rosetta promos back when this was given out at armories, it's not bad. Once these go, it's a pretty crazy price point. So Cosine to Cosmos Shock, pretty much 3 bucks, slowly going to 5 bucks. Rainbow foil here for 6. The cold foil, this I think was like a skirmish first place, and it was either this or Everbloom Life, but this is completely to the sky. I mean, basically 140, 150. Let's look at sold listings. Sold listings realistically closer to 75. So if you want to get this, then probably want to look closer to 70 to 80. But if you have some of these, then you're up. That's at least a blue bill. So Mental Block, this is just going crazy. I mean, Vertis was playing this. I think it was like a $5 card. Right now, pretty much 15, 16, 17. I think it's only going to keep leaving the market. Pretty good as a way to prevent damage and basically refund you the card since you're getting a Ponder token. And it's a blue pitch, so pretty versatile card. Kindle, kind of flying out the market. The modern Acilios are just playing this. It's really cool how you can layer Acilio and then Kindle. Kindle will draw, and since you discarded from Acilio and you don't have nothing in your hand, then Acilio draws you a card. Amps 1, very, very powerful. Pretty low on the market. Rainbow foil here for pretty much 20. Non-foils for 20. Then the rainbow foils over to 24. It is from MST. Pretty crazy. I think Kindle's going to stay around this range for quite a while. Sigil of Brilliance. Cuckoo Bananas. 32 bucks. Slowly going to 35, 40. The EA version. Wow. For near mint, you're pretty much looking at 100 bucks. That's kind of wild. Looks like they've actually been selling for 70, 100. The price range is all over the place with this. Sigil of Brilliance, really good card. Really expensive, honestly. The Marvels, 150. Beautiful piece of artwork. Sigil of Aether, pretty much right there with Sigil of Brilliance as the highest sigil in terms of price point. 20 bucks more or less. The EA variant, pretty much for a near mint, it's 100 beans. Looks like they've been selling close to 90, so yeah, pretty crazy. Marvels, 120, 130, 140. They have been selling for that price point, but these sales are pretty old, so yeah, can't really tell you guys to pick these up as these are crazy. You can get like 2 playsets instead of getting 1 Marvel. Make your own choices. They are a beautiful card, but I'd rather just have a playable playset than having these fancy versions. Harness Lightning, 10 bucks. Looks like they've been selling for 6 bucks, 7 bucks. I think this is just Briar Sage hype. Kind of weird that this didn't get reprinted in the Briar deck. So if you can find in the wild some First Strike Aurora decks, not a bad pickup. I think the MSRP is around 12 bucks and they come with 2 Harness Lightning. So unless this gets reprinted in the next gem pack or something, I think this is gonna stay around this price. I mean, Sage is supposed to be an affordable format, but yeah, when they print cards that only have really 1 printing, it's kind of tough. Blade Flurry, just wanted to highlight this because it kind of went down from the last time I talked about it. Rainbow foils are pretty much at 40. I think they were at that price point, but non-foils closer to 25. So there was a lot of hype around this card not too long ago. If you want to pick one up for 25, I mean, BNB Games has a playset. I was thinking this could possibly get reprinted in the next Mastery Pack Warrior set, but I don't know. My uncle does not work at LSS. My auntie does not work at LSS. Make your own choices. 25 for a pretty strong, majestic piece of cardboard. Don't think it's a bad deal, but this is not financial advice. Make your own choices. Gravekeeping. This card is weird. The card did not really see a ton of play. Some decks were playing it into Victor to banish the Visit the Goldmane estate. Some decks have played it into Gravy. Malice is coming out. So as Flesh and Blood keeps growing, I think Gravekeeping is going to become a little more relevant, but will it ever really be good enough to be put in your deck list? You make your choice. For the alternate art, EA Gravekeeping, about 18 bucks, then we're jumping over to 20, then 25, and then they're pretty much gone. So make your own choices. I would skip on this. The non-foils are readily available, but if you like the shiny EA underwater zombie boat, I don't know if this is a boat or just the sea floor, they are here, so make your own choices. Last but not least, the Agents of Chaos. Marionette will be leaving soon. The Marvel Agents of Chaos. Number 1 is still holding a pretty good price point, around 60. I think she's been at this price point for quite a while. 2, about 25, slowly 30. One of the worst ones, but artwork is still dope. Orb Weaver, definitely the best one, holding out about 30, 35. Redback, a little bit higher, closer to 40. Tarantula, pretty much 45. And then Trapdoor, pretty much 30. Yeah, slowly going to 33. Guys, Marionette will LL soon. I think maybe collectors that don't have these will pick them up. Maybe they'll wait for the hero to cross the LL line. So, I don't know. If you have these, maybe sell them, maybe hold on to them. It would be really interesting how the next Marionette will come out. I don't even know if Marionette will come back. I mean, Arachne seems like they just keep shifting into different forms. So it's not going to be like a Dash situation or a Prism situation. Like, I don't think we'll get a Arachne Marionette 2. But my dad does not work at LSS. I do not know. Maybe we will get Arachne Marionette 2. So make your own choices, guys. I think these are probably good time to pick up once Marionette officially LLs. But that pretty much wraps it up, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. As always, not financial advice. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below. Is Betsy a meta contender now? Thank y'all for watching. Peace.